What's up guys? In this video I'm going to show you 5 of the most common ways to mix dry concrete. Some of these methods you've probably used or at least seen, others are probably new to you. Let's get into it. So it should come as no surprise that wheelbarrow mixing is the first way to mix concrete on the list. It's pretty much the most common, everyone's done it if they've done some DIY concrete in their backyard, and it's as simple as throwing some water into a wheelbarrow, adding some concrete, mixing it up with a shovel, and then pouring it out where you need it. I personally have used a wheelbarrow concrete mixing method for a few projects, this one being the concrete fire pit table that I built, and I also used the wheelbarrow method for some fence posts that I wanted to anchor in concrete in my backyard. Again, it's as simple as adding the concrete mix, adding the water, and mixing it in the wheelbarrow with a shovel and applying it where it needs to go. I will say that this is pretty labor intensive, so it's definitely better for small jobs. I'll link videos to the fire pit table and the fence project in the video description in case you want to check it out. The next concrete mixing method on this list is the mechanical mixer. You can typically rent one of these mechanical mixers from your local big box store like Home Depot or Lowe's for around 30 or 50 bucks. Not too bad if you're going to be working with a lot of concrete. This takes a lot of the manual labor out of it. You still need to lift the bags into the actual mixer, but it makes it a lot easier than mixing it in a wheelbarrow. These mixers are usually pretty good, but I've found if you're doing a lot of concrete, they have a tendency to bind up in the mixer, and I find myself using a shovel to loosen everything up, and it can kind of be a pain depending on what kind of concrete mix you're using. I've used the mechanical mixer for a fair share of projects. Some have turned out kind of crappy, others have turned out pretty good, but in the grand scheme of things, this method of concrete mixing is not a bad choice. Overall, still a much better option than mixing by hand in a wheelbarrow. Next up on this list is a method of concrete mixing that you've probably never seen before, but it's definitely my favorite. The mud mixer is a concrete mixing tool that takes basically all the manual labor out of the concrete mixing process. Basically, all you need to do is connect a water hose, drop some dry concrete mix into the hopper, adjust the amount of water coming into those hoses, and then you simply turn on the auger and it's going to mix the dry concrete in the hopper with the water coming out of those injection hoses to give you the perfect mix of concrete coming out. I've used this tool for 2 projects now, and honestly, it's been a breeze. You can literally go through 40 bags of concrete mix in around an hour, and it's super easy compared to a mechanical mixer or mixing in a wheelbarrow. Highly recommend this tool if you do a lot of concrete work. Next on the list is the bucket and drill mixer concrete mixing method. This method is best for small quantities of concrete. I've used this for mixing a concrete resurfacing product for my front porch, and basically you're going to take a bucket, you're going to add water, and then you're going to add the right amount of concrete, mix it with a drill equipped with a mixer attachment. You don't want to be mixing this by hand, use the drill, and then once you get it to the right consistency, you can apply it to your project area. I've used this method of mixing concrete for a few projects, and for small quantities, it works great. And finally, the last concrete mixing method is the pour and mix in place method. This is kind of a lazy way of mixing concrete. You're not going to get a complete mix, and you really shouldn't use this method unless it's a pretty low consequence application. For example, I used this when I was just concrete encasing some conduit in my backyard, and I've also heard of people using this method for fence posts. They put the fence post in, and then they put in dry concrete, and then just add water to the dry concrete. It's a little bit lazy in my opinion. I don't use this often, but in some cases, it'll work. Well guys, those are my 5 ways to mix concrete. If this video provided you with some value, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you want to check out the other concrete projects that I featured in this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.